Hi, my name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman & Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan. And we have our video series that's continuing. We're going to continue to educate the public on issues that pertain to family law. Today we're going to talk about mistaken identity as it relates to custody. So please subscribe to our channel. Now, in the context of mistaken identity, how does that come up in custody? Well, the most popular time you see that is when a person is accused of perhaps a crime of some sort, or accused of something that might, if true, go against their custody claim, but it's mistaken identity. They weren't the ones who robbed that bank. They weren't the ones who got stopped by the police for drunk driving. Somebody just dropped their name. Maybe they have a very popular name, and there's somehow a mistake, a mistaken identity, and how do you deal with that? Well, you have to understand one thing. You're going to be accused of something in the context of the custody. You're going to be telling the court, it wasn't me, it was somebody that's similar to me or with a similar name. The burden is going to be on you to prove that defense, and therefore it's like a case within a case. In order to resolve your custody case in your favor and not have that case held against you, you're going to have to be a little bit of an investigator and prove to the court that this event that you're accused of really related to somebody else. And it's not going to be so easy to do that. A lot of times you'll find that courts, even if they know it wasn't you, they're reluctant to give you that clearance. I'll never forget, years ago we had a case where a guy had his license suspended for all these tickets that, he says wasn't him. And how does he know it wasn't him? He has proof that he wasn't even living in the state of Michigan at the time. He was going to school. He had an apartment, he's paying utilities, he has a curriculum, all this proof to show that, that person, he had a very common name like a Robinson or Williams or, Jones, or he had a name that was so common it really could have been anybody. And what happened was the police stopped this guy. He said, show us your driver's license. He said, oh, I don't have it on me. Well, what's your name? Oh, I'm Bob Jones, Robert Jones from, Main Street. The police don't know. They put down what he says because they don't know. It's a traffic stop. They're not going to bring him in and fingerprint him. They're just going to give him a ticket right on the spot. And this guy, what do you think happens? He doesn't pay his tickets. He doesn't, and there's an accumulation. All of a sudden, the court sends out a suspension of license, and who got it? My client. Another guy named Robert Jones. Not the same guy. Had nothing to do with it. Wasn't even in the state at the time. It took forever to resolve that problem. So it's very, very difficult, even when faced with overwhelming evidence. The court doesn't quickly resolve these things. It doesn't acknowledge mistaken identity or laziness on the part of some governmental official in sending out this without checking. They're not quick to acknowledge that. So when you're in a mistaken identity situation, expect to have to take a significant amount of time in order to resolve that issue as an outside issue, so that the inside issue, the custody issue, is something that you'll be able to prove was mistaken identity and resolve it in your favor. If you have questions about how to do that, reach out. We'll be glad to help you out.